Hello everyone. Now let's see section 14, the last of the section in place of supply, and this is about OIDAR. Okay, so what it says: on supply of OIDAR services by any person located in a non-taxable territory and received by a non-taxable online recipient, received by non-taxable online recipient. Now who is non-taxable online recipient? You guys. You are non-taxable online recipients. Are you registered persons? No. Are you taking the service in the course of your business? No. You are just watching a movie on some foreign website. So you are called as non-taxable online recipient. Okay. Then in that case, the supplier of services, the foreign website, the supplier located in a non-taxable territory shall be the person liable for paying integrated tax on such supply of services. So who is liable? The foreign person, the foreign website itself is liable. So first of all, let's discuss some points. OIDAR. First of all, what section 13 says? That if the foreign website, maybe in USA, supplies a service to any person in India, then the first thing is that the place of supply shall be the recipient place. So place of supply will be in India. Like, right, this is section 13. Place of supply shall be in India. Now if the place of supply is in India, then it is taxable. Means taxable. So next question is that who will pay the tax? Who will pay the tax? And there is another point. In exemptions we have seen. Do you remember the exemptions? That if any service is imported into India by an unregistered person, unregistered individual, then it is exempt. Imported by the government or imported by unregistered individual, then it is exempt. But exception is OIDAR. In OIDAR, even if the service is received by unregistered person, it still remains taxable. It is not exempt. So now the two questions, that who will pay tax? So if it is received by non-taxable online recipient, NTOR, then in that case tax payable by the OIDAR service provider, means the actual supplier. I would write actual supplier, by supplier. And if received by taxable recipient, means for example Farooqa Classes is a registered person, then RCM will apply, reverse charge mechanism will apply. So tax will be payable by recipient. Okay, tax will be paid by the recipient, and here tax payable by supplier. Or what we are going to see, we can write down. So this is mentioned in section 14 that we are seeing right now. So tax payable by supplier. So if he has a place of business in India, then he can pay tax from there. If not, then his representative, if operating in India, if he has any representative in India, then he will pay tax. Or if he doesn't have a representative also, then he has to appoint a tax representative. A tax representative will have to be appointed, who will then discharge the tax on behalf of the actual supplier. Right? Very simple. Pause and write down. So I'll come back. Okay. So he'll be liable to pay the integrated tax. And why integrated tax? Because it comes under import. So import of service comes under integrated tax, right? And not under CGST, SGST. And then the proviso, provided that in the case of supply of OIDAR services by a person located in non-taxable territory and received by non-taxable online recipient, an intermediary, now this is an interesting point, an intermediary located in the non-taxable territory, if there is an intermediary, okay, located in non-taxable territory, who arranges or facilitates the supply of such services, shall be deemed to be the recipient, shall be deemed to be the recipient of such services from the supplier of the service in non-taxable territory, and supplying such services to the non-taxable online recipient. Stop, don't read further. First we'll read this much. So what does that mean? That if the actual OIDAR service provider who is in non-taxable territory, actual OIDAR service provider in non-taxable territory, means in USA for example, is not directly providing service to recipient in India. Okay, so there is an intermediary in between. So he provides service through an intermediary. Intermediary means an agent or an online website. An online website can act as an intermediary. Okay, so basically OIDAR service means which is provided through the net. It is basically provided through the net. But then you can have an intermediary, means a website in between these two people. Like there is a freelancer website. Freelancer is there, Fiverr is there. There are websites where different OIDAR service providers will be registered members. So they will come there, and through that intermediary they will provide service to the recipient in India. So it will not be a direct supply, it will be supplied through an intermediary. So in this case, what the proviso is saying? Proviso is saying that it will be deemed that this OIDAR service is provided by non-taxable person to this intermediary. This intermediary will be considered as a recipient of service. So this becomes one service, provider, recipient. And if this intermediary is also in non-taxable territory, that is USA, it is also in non-taxable territory. So this will become one service, OIDAR to intermediary, both are in US. So will this be taxed in India? No, no tax, because service provider also in US and the intermediary also in US, and the service is also given in US. So this will not be taxable. So this becomes non-taxable. And then it will be deemed that this intermediary is now the service provider providing OIDAR service to the recipient in India. So this part of the service will now become taxable. So this is taxable. So now who becomes the supplier? This. So S means the intermediary here and R means the recipient in India. So who will become taxable? The intermediary will become taxable. Means he has to pay tax in India. Instead of the actual service provider, the intermediary, the website, the collective website will now pay tax in India. If they are providing service to which recipient? Non-taxable online recipient. So if this person is NTOR and the supply is from here, from the intermediary to NTOR, non-taxable online recipient, then who will pay tax? The supplier will pay tax. Who is the supplier? The intermediary. So instead of the actual service provider, the intermediary will be considered as taxable person. And if he is giving service to a taxable recipient like Farooqa classes, then the reverse charge mechanism will apply, RCM. So then the taxable recipient will have to pay the tax. Okay, so this is what is given in the proviso, that the intermediary will be deemed to be the recipient and then the supplier. So if he is deemed to be recipient of this service and supplier of this service, so he takes it, he gives it. So when he takes it, that will become exempt because both of them are in USA, both of them are outside the taxable territory. But when he gives it to the recipient in India, NTOR, then he will become the supplier, he will become chargeable to tax. Okay, but there are few exceptions. So he is taxable, but there are certain exceptions. So what are the exceptions? Now let's see. So let's come back and read the proviso further. Okay, except, so now it says except, but wait a second, read this again so that you will understand what we have studied till now. Provided that in case of supply of online information and database access or retrieval services by any person located in a non-taxable territory, so this is the actual person, and received by a non-taxable online recipient, this is you who are receiving it, an intermediary located in non-taxable territory who arranges or facilitates the supply of such service. So he is an in-between person who arranges the supply of that service, shall be deemed to be recipient of such service and from the supplier of service in the non-taxable territory and supplying such services to the non-taxable online recipient. Okay, so he becomes a recipient also and he becomes a supplier also. So on that side he becomes a recipient and this side he becomes supplier. Except, now the exception, except when such intermediary satisfies the following conditions. Now if he satisfies all these conditions, then he will not be considered as a taxable person. Okay, so to avoid tax, what the intermediary should do, let's see. Namely, number one, the invoice or customer's bill or receipt issued or made available by such intermediary taking part in the supply clearly identifies the service in question and its supplier. So first point, the invoice which is issued clearly identifies the supplier. So the recipient, like you will be going to the website and purchasing the services. So the website will give you, website means the intermediary, he will give you the receipt or the invoice. So in that invoice, the name of actual service provider should be mentioned clearly. It should identify, the invoice should identify who is the actual service provider. So that is the first condition. Clearly identifies the service, what is the nature of service, and the supplier. Second, the intermediary involved in the supply does not authorize the charge to the customer or take part in its charge, which is that the intermediary neither collects or processes payment in any manner, nor is responsible for the payment between the non-taxable online recipient and the supplier of such service. So what happens is that the intermediary website is only a display website. Understand that it is only a display website. It will display the products. It displays the services that are given by the actual service provider. And when the customer in India wants to buy that service, he will be redirected to the website of the actual supplier. So the intermediary doesn't book sales. They will not take money. They will not take money. They will not do anything. They will just redirect you to the website of the actual service provider, and then you do your financial transaction with the actual service provider and not with the intermediary. So intermediary neither receives nor pays any amount. Okay, so it is not even liable for the payment. He is just redirecting the customer to the actual service provider. So that's the second point, that he does not accept any payment, okay, nor is he responsible for the payment. Third, the intermediary involved in the supply does not authorize delivery. He doesn't even authorize delivery. Basically he is just forwarding the requirements. Okay, he is not authorizing payment, nor is he authorizing any delivery of service. And the general terms and conditions of supply are not set by the intermediary involved in the supply, but by the supplier of services. So if these conditions are satisfied, that he clearly identifies the supplier, who is the supplier, first of all. Secondly, he is not taking payment, he is not accepting any payment. Payments are accepted directly by the actual service providers. The risks also are taken by the actual service providers. Okay, they deliver the service, and this intermediary does not guarantee any delivery of service. And the terms and conditions are also set by the actual service provider, not by the intermediary. So if these conditions are satisfied, then we can prove that intermediary is nothing, he is just arranger. The actual transaction takes place between the recipient and the OIDR actual service provider. So if that is the case, then he will be liable, actual service provider will be liable, and not the intermediary. Okay, simple. Then subsection 2 says, the supplier of the online information database access service referred to under 1 shall, for the payment of integrated tax, take a single registration under the simplified registration scheme to be notified by the government. So he will take a registration in India, provided that any person located in the taxable territory representing such supplier for any purpose means for business purpose in the taxable territory shall get registered. So if he has a representative in India, then the representative will get registered and pay tax on behalf of the supplier. And provided further that if such supplier does not have a physical presence, if the supplier, the actual supplier or the intermediary, you can say, does not have a physical presence in India, nor does he have a representative, means he does not even have a representative in India, then what? Then he may appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying the IT, and such person shall be liable for payment of such tax. Means he will appoint a tax representative, tax rep. So the OIDR service provider will have to appoint a tax representative in India specially for this purpose. Understood? So very simple. So you have to remember 3-4 points taken together. Firstly, the definition of OIDR that we had seen in the definition chapter in IGST Act. Okay, so what is OIDR service, that you have to remember. Then who is the actual service provider, that you have to see. Where is the place of supply. Then exemption part, that there is no exemption in OIDR service. In other importation of services, if the importer is not a registered person, then it becomes exempt, but not in OIDR case. In OIDR case, it will always be taxable. Then who is receiving it, you have to see. If the recipient is NTOR, non-taxable online recipient, then tax will be payable by OIDAR himself. And if the recipient is a tax person like Farooqa classes, then he will be liable under reverse charge mechanism. Okay, so all these points have to be remembered. And then the intermediary part, that if there is intermediary in between, then the intermediary would become liable to pay tax in India. Okay, then let's see, the analysis is given. That OIDR is defined in a specific manner and may be simplified as follows. First of all, the definition, two-step definition, that services, it is not for goods, it is for services, and delivered over continuous internet connectivity, and involves minimum human interface. There is no or very minimal human interface. This we had discussed, do you remember? And impossible to ensure in absence of IT. If there is no IT, this service cannot be given. Finish. Like downloading of a movie. So without the internet, you just cannot download the movie. or as I told an example at that time in the definition, that if Faruka Classes has a cloud-based service, so we put all our lectures on the cloud, and then you can access them from the cloud. So that will also become OIDAR service, because without internet it cannot come to you, it cannot reach you, you cannot watch the lectures. So it's like that. But if I give you pen drive, that will not be called as OIDR. Sale of pen drives is not OIDR. But if I put my lectures on the Google Cloud or any cloud, and you will watch the lectures from the cloud, then that will become OIDAR service. Okay, so then these illustrations are given. Like first one was online advertising, include banner ads, pop-up ads, sponsored ads, etc. All the ads that you see on Google normally and other websites, but excludes preparation of content for online display like production, distribution and services of intermediaries. The content developer is not OIDR service provider. One who shoots the ad, one who adds music to your ad, one who prepares the ad, he is not OIDR. Okay, they are not OIDR. The person who places the ad is the OIDR service provider. The website on which ads are run, like Google website on which ads is run, they are OIDR service providers. Then advertisement in newspapers, on posters and television, that is also not OIDR. OIDR means internet ads. Internet ads. Then cloud services like web hosting, data warehousing, all those things, like our website is being hosted on the servers. So that will be the server which provides us the service of putting web hosting service. That will be OIDR service. And software license issued by delivery of key number to remotely downloaded via FTP. That will not be considered as OIDR. Just downloading is not OIDR. If anything can be downloaded from the net, that doesn't make it OIDR. Like software licenses. Software license will come in the key form. They'll give you a key. You can use the key to run the software. But the software is not run on the net. See, like in I'll give you a very good example. In case of Microsoft Office also. In Office there is one downloadable version. You download Office 16 onto your computer and then you can run. The key will come online, you would put the key, authenticate, and then you can run. And secondly, there is Office on the cloud, Office 365. So if Office 365 is used, that is OIDR service. But downloadable softwares are not OIDR. Then third example is ebooks, movies, music, software and other intangibles. Example, Gaana.com, Netflix, etc. Access to content permitted only online, even if stored in cache on user end device, but not allowing permanent download. It has to be watched online. This is a very important point. No download. Does not allow down. No, not allowing permanent download. It has to be watched online. Watched on the cloud. So cloud will stream it onto your device and you watch it. That will be OIDR. But downloadable, if it comes in downloadable form, like you can download the movie and then watch on your computer anytime, that is not OIDR. So downloadable ebooks, movies, music, etc., which are available for offline viewing without any mandatory e-check of the user credentials. So that is downloadable. Anything which is downloaded is not OIDR. Then content provided through dedicated user and device for use of content, that is not OIDR. Then supply of physical books, newsletters, newspapers, journals, like Faruka Classes. I supply you the physical books with your pen drive. So that pen drive and module is not OIDR. Then booking services or tickets to entertainment events, hotel accommodation, car hire, etc. Like you book tickets to entertainment events, which is that site Book My Show. That is not OIDR. No data access is given. It's just booking. And educational and professional courses where the content is delivered by the teacher over the internet or electronic network. That is not OIDR. Content is delivered, like we also have the cloud downloadable form. Farooq classes has pen drive version and downloadable version. But downloadable version, as I told you, is not OIDR, because you have to download it onto your PC and then run. So that is not OIDR service. But if I put my lectures on the cloud and you can watch online only, you cannot download, you watch online, then that will become OIDAR. The next is online data or information like LinkedIn, taxindiaonline.com, some examples are given. Paid websites that provide information, free sites provide information should be here. And free sites with valuable information. So all those are there. But net banking, where banking information is accessed online but merely incidental to offline banking transactions, is not OIDR. Electronic commerce is not OIDR. Electronic commerce is not OIDR. People confuse it later. Like you buy goods on internet or you buy services on internet. That is not OIDR. Just buying online is not OIDR. It should be provided online, and it should be of such nature that it can only be provided online. It cannot be provided offline. Then that is OIDR. Then online supply of digital content is there, YouTube, etc. All this we had discussed. But at the same time, in that auditors report sent by mail, which will it become OIDR? No, the audit is not done online, na? Audit is done offline, so it is an offline service, not online. It is merely a form in which the offline services are communicated. Okay, so basically the service is offline, communication is only online, so that will not become OIDR. So service of auditor is not the email of report issued by the but the opinion expressed. Audit service means the opinion. So opinion was formed when the actual audit was done, which was offline. Then online order processing in respect of offline supply of goods. Online order processing for offline supply of goods, like in case of groceries being sent to your shop, to your home. Only the processing is online, or these days that Zomato. Only the processing is online, otherwise the food is served offline only. So that is not OIDR. And services of lawyers and financial consultants who advise clients through email. Just sending your opinion by email doesn't make it OIDR. The actual service is not OIDR, is not given on net. Then data storage like Amazon and so many other, GoDaddy. Lots of sites are there. So they are web servers, shared or dedicated with or without support. Web servers are normally OIDR. But lease of server with redundancy means if we take the server on lease, that is not OIDR. Then online gaming, there is live gaming or collaborative gaming. But computer mobile games to be used after downloading is not OIDR. If downloading is involved in software, in games or anything, in lectures or books, if downloading is there, then it is not OIDR. Then like every transaction done over the internet is not e-commerce, everything delivered online is not OIDR. The acid test is to see always on status of internet connectivity for the continuous supply of the underlying services. Mere use of internet for delivery of services that can otherwise be provided offline, though some media like CD, pen drive, etc., although less securely, will not be OIDAR. The use of file transfer protocol, that is FTP, for delivery of software or music or games is only to ensure integrity in the delivery of these high volume files, and thus the use of internet for FTP does not become OIDR. If some big content is being downloaded, Then FTP is there. We use FTP, file transfer protocol. That is just to secure that the whole data has come. That doesn't make it OIDR. So software is downloaded online, but when it is used offline. So that is not OIDR. But when the software itself is run online, so all the cloud-based softwares which are there, that will come as OIDR. Because they cannot be downloaded, they have to be used online only. Then regarding taxability, it is given here again that we have made the diagram also. The supplier is the supplier of service in non-taxable territory, of course, and if the recipient is non-taxable online recipient, NTOR, then that is called as B2C transaction, business to consumer. B2C means business to customer or consumer. And in B2C, if it is a non-taxable online recipient, NTOR, then who will be liable? The overseas supplier. The overseas supplier himself will be liable. So it will come under forward charge. And if it is intermediary, intermediary means the actual service provider will give to intermediary, and intermediary will then give to the recipient in India. So intermediary will be deemed to be recipient and resupplying to NTOR, then the recipient. Recipient, no. Cut this off and write intermediary. The intermediary will be responsible for the payment, not the recipient. So it will still come under forward charge. So this is correct, it will be forward charge. But if it is B2B transaction, B2B means the recipient is also a registered person. He is also into business, he is a registered person. Then the recipient under reverse charge. Okay. And then a few simple questions are there. Who shall be liable to collect and discharge the integrated tax in case of cross-border B2C OIDR services? So we'll write the service providers providing OIDR service to be non-taxable to non-taxable online recipient in taxable territory would be responsible for collection and discharge of tax. The service provider, the actual service provider, will be liable. Then in what circumstances the intermediary who arranges or facilitates the supply of OIDR service not be liable? So here we'll write those conditions. If he satisfies those conditions, then intermediary will not be liable. And who is non-taxable online recipient? You. If question comes and write, we the students of this great country, of this great course, Chartered Accountancy, are the non-taxable online recipients. Simple. So that was the chapter of place of supply. Very interesting chapter, very important chapter. So on one hand you have to, now since we have finished, so you do one thing. 4 sections you will revise at least 6 times. 10, 11, 12, 13. 10, 11 is for goods, 12, 13 is for services. Okay. Now basically this 12, 13. So 12 and 13 you read them combinedly also. Like take one service, any kind of service, like performance based service. So what 12 says and what 13 says. And then find out the interconnections, the similarities as well as the distinctions, the distinguishing features. What is given in 12 but not given in 13, or what is given in 13 but differently than what was given in 12. Okay. So these interlinks are very important, because when the question comes in the exam, it will come about one person like Farooq. Farooq provides service domestic also, and Farooq provides service in export also. So when I provide domestic, there will be some different rules for point of supply, and when I am supplying international, there will be different rules for the point of supply, means place of supply. So you need to know the differences. Okay, so read them together also. Great. So now in the next lecture we'll start with next chapter.